Well, I went and washed the pickup and I had to go and pour down rain. What we got going on today? We have to go yonder. A customer hired us to come in and prep his driveway for gravel, and then we're gonna lay the gravel down. We actually bid this job a couple of months ago. We get the pickup fired up, get you guys magnetized for your morning music and time lapse. You know what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up there because the existing grade as it is right now turns and goes up. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna go up in there, I'm gonna start pushing that stuff out as best as I can, and try and get this little dip filled in here, and then maybe try and fill in this little swale. Because the road goes off this way, the road goes off this way. I did not do the gravel, the sub base work here. If I had, I would have done this here a little bit differently. I don't think they used a big enough machine to really do it. I would have been in here with the mini and the tracks here getting this figured. So that's okay, we'll get her figured. There's a bunch of material up there I gotta get dug out, and I'm gonna bring it around and fill in here. And I know that he wanted this here filled up a little bit, but I think I'm just gonna come in and skim it, and then, because I don't really want to mess with the water drainage too terribly much. I want to keep the water draining off into here, because all this ground around here perks real good. The water just goes in and disappears. So I don't really want to go bringing this up and bringing more water this way. I want to kind of skim this up over here and this out over here, and I want to kind of make the water go down that other driveway. Maybe. We'll see how it works out. But for right now, what I'm going to get going on this chunk over here, and then maybe I might have some answers on rock by then. Okay, back from lunch, and much back from lunch because I was sat over there in the truck and ate my sandwich. So I've been thinking about it for a few minutes here, and I think what I am going to do now is I'm pretty happy with the way this is. I'm going to move this material here around and try and fill in this little dip I got going on right here. And then I'm going to go over here and start moving this material around and get it graded and ready to go for the fabric. And then I'll come back here to where the machine's sitting and just kind of work this here over. And then I'll advise the customer to drive on it for a few days. That way we make sure it's good and packed. might be in the Snozzola. there ain't no way I'm gonna get over here, maintain my sanity, get over here. Drop the machine off and get home. So I just turned and headed home. That's the reason why I had the video of washing this thing at the pickup. Anyway, I got home and I lifted up my shirt. From my neck clear down to my knees was one big rash. And it sucked. The only thing we can figure is that after I got done freezing my butt off in the rain on Thursday, I came home and took a nice hot shower. And my mother had done nothing. I'm not trying to slam on her or anything, but she'd done a load of towels, threw some bleach in with them. That's something she's always done, no biggie. And boy, I tell you what, there was a lot of bleach left behind on that towel. I could smell it. But ever since that shower, I've itched from head to toe. And the next day was Friday. That's why I had that rash. Boy, did it suck. The rash is pretty much gone now, but it's lingering on my feet and on my hands. Let the machine cool off, talk this out just a little bit. So they got this slab set where it drains across this way. I don't know why they did that. They did that based on the garage, I know that. Would have been me, I would have had the slab come out and then go that way. That way everything goes downhill, because right now they're putting all the water on the uphill side of this. So to kind of try and help counteract that, because everything's sloping off this way, now what I got to do to make the driveway work right is I got to take a shot off the corner of this slab, and I got to take this down to where this is the same height as that, and it slopes out that way. So that way, as the water comes off the slab and off the house, it continues on out. And I tell you what, if I were bidding this to bid it at this point, I'd be taking that tree out. I'd be moving all this material right around the corner there. I have to have a little chat with the customer about that. But I'm gonna have to take some shots with the laser before I get too terribly wild and crazy. Because what I can do is I can slope all this, I can take it and slope it, and I can slope it where it runs off this way and it runs off into a ditch. That's if I can get around the roots of that snag right there, which is dead anyway. But I can slope it all out to where it runs out and around that way. So we'll see. I just have to get the grade the grade rod out tomorrow and take some shots, figure out what I'm gonna do here, because it's low down there and it's low right here. There's a big hump right here that we've been trying to work on getting out. So what I might just have to do is I might just have to just plan on spending the day tomorrow working on this chunk and figuring out what I'm gonna do with the material. I guess just take it over there and cast it out off the bank. This little tree right here that way, I'm happy with it. I think that it's gonna come out pretty good. It's got a nice gentle slope off this way, the water to get out there. It's kind of interesting that they didn't take the driveway out and around like that. I think I would have done that, because that would have just been a matter of peeling the sod off of it and right in there and good, and then come around and tie into it out there. That's not me. It's not my house. So like I was saying, tomorrow I'm gonna have to get the grade rod out and take some shots off that slab and figure out what I need to do for grade coming back this way, because it doesn't come up on camera, but I can see that pad slopes this way and this way. So if I don't take this hump out right here, the water is going to dam up against it and it's going to come up and form a pool, and then it's going to go off over this way until it finally gets in the dirt that it can perk into. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shot, and then take a shot about where the track steer's at, and then kind of figure out what I got coming down through here. And then about like what we did for the road last year is I'll come in and I'll just kind of put some points along here until they tell me to get me a 2% slope down on this. And then where the track steer's out, I'll just knock that hump out. Try to slope it off to where it runs into a ditch. And then try to run it out this way. So this down here came out real good. I'm really happy with it. Really happy with it. I got this built up here probably, I don't know, it was probably 8 inches is what it needed. Got it groomed and cleaned. Got it looking okay. And let it pack in for the night. Like I said, I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get all the grading done, get this thing all graded and done, and then just tell them to drive on it for about a week. That way it can settle where it needs to settle, and then we know where it's gonna be settled at, and then all we gotta do is come in, because we're putting that filter fabric down. And the bad part about that road stabilization cloth is that it's great, but it's only as good as the base that's underneath it. So if you don't make sure that your base, your road bed is rock solid and ready to go, and you just throw that out and then you throw hundreds of tons of rock on top of it, what it's going to do is it's going to start doing this as it settles over time. And then you can't just come back through with a machine and cut it off and grade it and then re-gravel it. Because if it's humped, that fabric is going to conform to the hump, and you'll come along thinking that you got plenty of room and you'll whack right through it, and then there's no point in having it. So that fabric, it's quite literally just as good as the ground that's underneath of it. So if you're in an area that's real soft, you need to come in, cut the ground out, throw in, 8 inches of base rock, put that fabric down, and then put your top course on top of it. If you just throw your fabric off into the hole without anything underneath it for stabilization, it's going to wind up going south on you. And that's where a lot of guys I know that have problems with that stuff have problems with it, is they don't put it in right. There's some places you just throw it in and rock on top of it. But if you're looking at doing a driveway or a road situation, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that it's got a good base underneath it. Put it down and then put your top course in on top of it. Because what it's there for is it's there to form a seal to keep dirt from coming up. So that's what I want to make sure of here, is I want to make sure that we are packed in and it ain't going anywhere. Then roll that stuff out, because that stuff's not cheap per roll. So, alrighty. Then I'm going to call her a day. And we will be back in the morning. We'll get that over there cut out and done. We'll get this finished up and ready to go. And then, like I said, we'll tell them that they need to drive on it for about a week. And we'll go off and do a different project. And then we'll come back and rock it. And it will be ready to go.